Welcome to San Felipe, Mexico, and the SCORE World Desert Championship. Once a year, fire-breathing SCORE trophy trucks invade the sleepy seaside town of San Felipe for the start of this incredible event. This is undisputedly the toughest and most grueling desert race series on the planet. These monstrous machines push 800-plus horsepower, boast over 3 feet of suspension travel, and are helmed by the best desert racers in the world. The course is treacherous, the competition is brutal, and the action begins now.
Welcome to Baja, California, specifically the fishing village of San Felipe. We're nestled along the Sea of Cortez, just about 100 miles south of California, and we're getting ready for the 2019 Off-Road World Desert Championship. My name's Cameron Steele. I'll be driving in a truck, as well as Aaron Ampudia, my partner here on television. He'll also be driving, but today we're talking about it as well, because talking about a course that we've seen before in a lot of different ways at many different races, but I don't think we've ever seen a San Felipe that's 349 miles long. It is going to be absolutely brutal. Give us a little preview.
Yeah, there's a lot of flavor in San Felipe because it's one of the toughest, most grueling sections of the whole Baja. The highlight of it is the big whoops. You got big whoops in Morelia, you got big whoops coming out of the starting line in Puertecitos, and coming into the finish in the power line. Also, you have the Matomi Watch, which is super technical with huge rocks. You got the dry lake bed to do about 130, 140 miles per hour. And you have the summit, which changes elevations, and the trucks change their performance.
We're ready to have some fun is what we're ready to do. And when we talk about extending the race 100 miles, it's definitely going to be tough on equipment. Attrition is for sure going to be a part of this game. One thing that's definitely also going to be a part of it is the fans, because the people come out in droves. I think you hear about it every time a new season kicks off, how excited the fans are. But this place is pumping right now. The culture of off-road racing is alive and well in San Felipe.
Oh yeah, everyone's out here in San Felipe. The town is sold out. SCORE is here. It's kicking off the season. We're ready to go racing, have fun.
One thing that's very cool for all of us involved here is that SCORE is back with ABC. Back in 1969, Jim McKay came out with Wide World of Sports and shared our sport with the entire world. We're back now with the World of X Games, and we're looking forward to bringing you some of the greatest off-road racing you will ever see. 2019 will be a banner year for sure. But before we go racing, let's find out a little bit more about this gem known as San Felipe.
This picturesque fishing village, 125 miles south of the U.S. border, is set on the sunny side of the Baja Peninsula, nestled against the cool blue waters of the Sea of Cortez. However, for a few days every year, San Felipe is alive and teeming with activity as a host of off-road racing champions, legends, and fans descend upon the narrow streets, preparing themselves for the inaugural race in the 2019 SCORE World Desert Championship. Since 1982, San Felipe has acted as trailhead for the most grueling and challenging off-road series on the planet. Here there are dangers at every corner, endless whoops and obstacles, 349 miles of unforgiving challenges to push these drivers to their limits.
Well, if we're going to talk about racing, we got to talk about the competition. And of course, some people love the motorcycles, some people love the Baja Bugs, some people love the buggies, but many people have come here to see the trophy trucks. We're fortunate enough to be trophy truck racers, and there are about 46 of them in the field here. This is the field that a lot of people are talking about. Who do you look at? I mean, you can't really look much further than the guy that drew first off the line.
Oh yeah, I mean, Rob Mack is a legend. He's been racing in Baja for years and years. He's last year's champion, last year's 250 winner. He's starting up front. It's going to be hard to catch him, but there's a stacked field, Cam.
Absolutely. There's a huge field of talented drivers. 35th is our start position, which isn't a great spot. But this time the race is a little bit different for us. Normally the truck is black and has the number 16 on it. This time around, we'll be paying homage to my good friend Pistol Pete Soren, who unfortunately passed away in a non-race related incident here in San Felipe a couple months ago. We'll be running his trademark yellow body and also the number 2 that he made famous in off-road racing through trophy trucks. It's an honor for me to be able to do this, and we do it in memory of him to try to get to the finish line first, or first on time, we should say. It's going to be a tough race. There's going to be a lot of talent. There's so many trucks that are so well prepared and so many teams that are good to go. All we got to do now is talk about the race course that they're going to be battling on. We're going to start right on the Malecon along the Sea of Cortez in downtown San Felipe. We'll race out through the side of the sand dunes and out into the desert. About 20 miles of brutal whoops before we make the right turn as we head for Matomi Wash. This is one of those legendary Baja spots, and this is where the bottleneck could happen. The speeds will climb, there are a lot of rocks, and there are many option lines as we head towards Morelia Junction. This is a tricky place to go racing as we get out onto the Diablo Dry Lake. That's right, it's at sea level and it is at 130 plus miles an hour. We'll head then through Valle Trinidad and up the Goat Trail. For the first time in a number of years, we're actually going to head up to the summit, which is at elevation. We'll actually skirt the dry lake bed and go out into more sand and more silt. Then we'll start heading southbound through more washes, through some tricky canyons, before we head back into downtown San Felipe to crown our winner of the San Felipe 250 here in 2019. Well, we've done just about everything but go race, right? We've talked about San Felipe. We've talked about the racers. We talked about the course. Now it's time to do the thing we do, right? What is it?
Let's go racing, Cam.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's get the green flag in there and have some fun San Felipe style. This is the first race of the 2019 SCORE Desert Championship.
The trophy trucks are at the start line, waiting to get this San Felipe 250 race started and to lead us into another spectacular, brand new off-road racing season. Opening this season for the four-wheeled racers is the reigning 2018 SCORE Trophy Truck Champion, Rob McEachran. Defending his title will be a tough task with a stacked field behind him. But if anybody can, it's last year's San Felipe champion.
You know, San Felipe is good, always good for me. I love the rough course. I love the spectators, the fans all down here and all of Baja. You know, to draw number 1 is pretty damn cool as well. You know, it's a good thing, bad thing. You know, we have to open the road. I know getting out of town is going to be a little bit tough. Probably have spectators still trying to get out to get their spots, so we have to be real cautious with that.
Ryan Arciero starts behind Rob in truck 32, poised to make an impact on the standings this season.
We got a fast guy in front of us, Rob McEachran. Rob doesn't make any mistakes, or rarely makes mistakes. So what we need to do is we just need to continue to put the pressure on him all day and just be right there to tell him his best and force him into getting a flat, force him into making a mistake.
Abdali Lopez is looking for redemption in the 3rd position after losing his title to Rob last year. The youngster will fight to take it back with an early win here in San Felipe.
This is the first race of the season, and we are trying to get back our championship. We are trying to be at the top 3, and finishing on the top 3, we will start to be in a good spot for the championship.
Gary Magnus starts off the year in the 4th position in truck 45. And rounding out the top 5 is Tavo Vildosola. After taking a year off, he is back behind the wheel and ready to compete again.
This year, the goal is to have a number 1 on this truck. So, you know, we're doing San Felipe. Obviously, we're here to win, and we're going to go win the 500 and the 400 and the 1,000. That's the plan always. But we also are kind of keeping in mind the long-term goal and how this qualifies you for the 500, how the 400 qualifies you for the 1,000. So that really, you know, changes the strategy a little bit in terms of how you want to play the race, to be honest with you. But goal number 1 is still to win.
The trophy truck leaders are off the line, and now the rest of the pack follows into the Baja Desert. Rob McCachran leads the pack of the trophy trucks, but the drivers behind him are already making strides to catch up faster than anybody expected. With all the trophy trucks now out on the course, back at the start line, the other four-wheeled classes are getting ready to start their year. The Class 1 cars start behind the trophy trucks, and leading the way for them today is Jaime Huerta in car 175. And following Jaime is Al Torres in second. The Trophy Truck Spec class starts with Joe Lamardo, Jonathan Faulkner, and Steve Kovac in the third position. Leading off for the Class 10 cars is J.J. Schnarr in 1062, followed by Matt Rusich and Kevin Price. Opening the year for the Pro UTV Forced Induction class is Lane Black in 2938, with Mark Burnett in second, and starting in third is Jason Flanders. Motorcycles are already on course after an earlier start today. Leading the Pro Moto Unlimited class off the line was Derek Osserbauer in 13X. The rest of the two-wheeled racers and quads followed him and the class into the peninsula. Currently, for the Pro Moto Unlimited class, the 2018 champions of 1X have taken over the lead. Derek Osserbauer has fallen behind to fourth place, but there still is plenty of race to go as the racers are already heading north. The course has been rough for drivers up and down the field, but every single one of them has been relentless, knowing the importance of placing early in the year. The McMillan family has been charging through the Baja deserts since the 1960s. The Big Blue M has become a familiar part of the visual backdrop of any score race. Luke McMillan was raised watching his father, Mark, as he claimed 5 Baja 1000 overall wins, and Luke naturally followed his dad into off-road racing. In the 1600 class, Luke added to the family legacy, winning multiple races all across the desert. He then moved into Class 1, where in 2012, he won the San Felipe 250, the Baja 500, and the Baja 1000. Luke first jumped into a trophy truck as part of the McMillan team at the 2013 Baja 500, and ever since, he's been a familiar figure at the front of the pack. And now in race after race, pushing Trophy Truck 83 through the desert and usually winding up on the podium. The front of the pack has been shuffled for the trophy trucks, as a few have fallen behind and some are now in trouble. Tavo Vildosola has taken third on course after Gary Magnus has fallen back, and Abdali Lopez is sidelined with mechanical trouble. Luke McMillan took advantage of the open door and takes fourth on course. Chris Miller is running sixth on course, but is just running up on Abdali Lopez, who is still dealing with a mechanical issue. He'll take the fifth spot, putting Abdali's race at risk. Now fighting for the sixth position on course is Troy Herbst and Carlos Lopez in Truck 18, as the trucks are now getting close to the Matomi Wash. Score Desert Racing is being brought to you by BF Goodrich, the official tire sponsor of the Baja Desert Championship, and by Monster Energy. Trophy trucks have arrived at the infamous Matomi Wash, where the pacing might be slow for the racers, but any mistake could cost them their whole race. Reigning score champion Rob McCachran leads the way into the canyon with an advantage. The more the trucks drive through, the harder it becomes to navigate as the ground loosens. The middle of the pack is coming through, and Justin Matney has gotten stuck, blocking the only way through. If he doesn't manage to move quickly, things could get ugly for the trucks coming up behind him. The locals quickly move in to try and get him going. They managed to get Justin driving again, but now the drivers have to deal with the gridlock, and their clock is ticking. Unfortunately for Corey Kezar, just when the course opened up again, his truck gets stuck on the same spot. The locals move in once again to lend a hand. The delays can be costly for the drivers up front, but it's those in the back that can benefit from the gridlock, as it allows them to grab better positions on course. After starting in the 26th spot, Andy McMillan has set himself up for a better spot and will now push to take down positions. Class 1 cars have made it to the Matomi Wash. Now leading the pack is Shelby Reed in car 168. After a start in the 4th position, Shelby managed to pass all 3 cars in front of her, taking down Jaime Huerta to take the lead. Jaime is still in second, but very close as he and the rest of Class 1 navigates through Matomi. Reigning Class 1 champion Brad Wilson has climbed up to 5th place after a start in the 13th position and is looking for more. Justin Davis dropped a spot into 6th, but is staying within arm's reach of Brad. For the Trophy Truck Spec class, A.J. Jones jumped in front of the top 3 starters to take first on course. Alexis Lopez jumps from 8th to 2nd. Sarah Price jumps 2 positions to take 3rd on course. Still on the lead of Class 10 and catching up to the Trophy Truck Specs is J.J. Schnarr. He quickly reaches a new roadblock as Elias Hanna is currently stuck. He manages to get his truck loose, opening up the gridlock. Pro UTVs have reached the wash and are involved in a gridlock themselves, tightening the competition as they are now running only a few feet from each other.
The world's biggest action sports festival returns to the land of 10,000 lakes.
Event always pushes the boundaries of progression.
X Games Minneapolis, August 1st through 4th. Get your tickets now at xgames.com/tickets.
The reigning Promoto Unlimited champion, Justin Morgan, is ahead of the motorcycles. Santiago Creel is doing his best to fend off Ray Dalsoglio, who's only a few minutes behind. Ryan Leibelt has taken over Promoto 30 after a start in the 4th position. Marco Pena clawed his way into the lead of Promoto Limited. He's still fighting the Santiago Creel team in 100X right behind him. And taking a commanding lead of the Pro Quads is Saeed Sanchez. After passing Adolfo Ariano on 21A, he never looked back. Eight miles of hard-packed mud and dirt, starting at around race mile 120, comprise the El Diablo dry lake bed. This is probably the fastest part of the course, a vast expanse of unhindered potential, open and waiting for speed. Driving into the bed as an invitation for these racers, a welcome change of pace from the treacherous twists, turns, and whoops. And here is where the drivers get to open up their vehicles and chase the horizon. Trophy trucks have reached the El Diablo dry lake bed. Ryan Arciero now has Rob McCachran in his sights, with a chance to take the lead on a section that allows them to go full speed. Ryan will be making a run at Rob without a doubt. Ryan makes his move on the straightaway and takes the lead of the trophy trucks on course. In the middle of the pack, B.J. Baldwin and Luke Johnson are in an all-out battle for 14th on course. Luke makes a move towards the next fork, but picks the longer way, which costs him a few precious seconds. It allows PJ to pull ahead and gain the advantage in 14th. Unfortunately for the team of Tavo Vildosola in Truck 21, they seem to be at a rough spot. They were sidelined with engine trouble and will have a hard time getting back into contention. Dale Dondale seizes the opportunity and takes his spot in 28th. Back up in front with the leaders, Andy McMillan has battled his way up to take 9th on course, behind Zach Langley and Robbie Gordon. His pit crew waits for him as the trucks get ready to head up north towards the summit. The Herbst family's passion for racing has turned them into an off-road institution. With over 40 years of experience across 3 generations, his family is now safely considered racing royalty. It all started with Jerry Herbst, who racked up 23 Class 1 victories and 11 in the trophy truck class. Now his 2 eldest sons are carrying on the winning tradition in the number 19 trophy truck. Tim and Ed Herbst won the San Felipe 250 3 consecutive times in 1999, 2000, and 2001. Last season, a strong campaign saw them finish 3rd in the SCORE Class Points Championship. Most recently, Herbst Motorsports developed and built a lighter chassis that will allow their vehicles to travel farther in between fueling. With ingrained racing heritage and the latest in cutting-edge tech, the Herbst brothers are perfectly positioned to take their winning attitude into the desert and all the way to the podium. Jumping ahead of the Class 1 cars is Ronnie Wilson, currently running behind Russell Buehler in the Trophy Truck Legends class. He managed to get ahead of Shelby Reed, who is still in second, but is not going down without a fight. Brad Wilson continues his climb in positions as he now sits in 3rd behind the leaders. Now with a shot at the podium, he is charging ahead and will battle until the end. Not to be outdone, Justin Davis is staying in the battle in 4th. James Scully powered through 6 positions in the Trophy Truck Spec class and has taken over the lead. Rafael Navarro is 2nd on course after a start in the 13th position, and he is digging for more. Charles Dorrance is currently running third on course and has Chelsea Magnus knocking on his back door in fourth. After a start in 27th place, Brad Lovell has battled his way up and is now fighting for fifth on course against Vincent Munoz in 294.
Easy left into a hard left. Keeps going around. You got the hard left in one. Keeps going around. Here's your hard left.
While the trophy trucks and trophy truck spec classes tend to get the most attention, the road through the desert might be tougher on the buggy classes that take on this score series, and they deserve plenty of recognition. One of the top racers in this tier is Morgan Langley, who drives the number 150 Class 1 Unlimited buggy for the Unwavering Cops racing team. Morgan and his family have been tackling the deserts of Baja for over a decade, and his Cops racing buggy is a fixture at the finish line. Last year, after Morgan took third place at the Baja 500, he claimed the top spot at the Baja 1000. And now he and his team are preparing to dominate the 2019 off-road season. Trophy trucks are powering through the summit. Ryan Arciero has not looked back since taking over Rob McEachran's position in the lead. Soon after getting on the highway, Rob McEachran pulled over for a scheduled pit stop that required some mechanical work. The delay cost him a few positions on course, and now he has a lot of work to do to get back in contention. Taking over his position in second is Tony Smiley. Working his way up to third on course is Luke McMillan. Fifth on course is Zach Langley. He's going after Adam Householder, who is struggling in front of him in fourth. Running sixth on course is Robbie Gordon. Gordon is forced to pull over after getting a flat. The team will have to work fast as the rest of the pack is approaching quickly up the summit. Andy McMillan takes advantage of Gordon's flat tire and is able to take his position. Running well ahead on corrected time, Andy McMillan is making a strong case for the podium. Finishing in first place for Promoto with a total time of 6 hours and 50 minutes is Justin Morgan with Team 1X.
You know, the 250 is always brutal. People think it's shorter and it's easier, but it's the most tough part in Baja. And 340 miles is no joke in this area. And I'm stoked that we came out on top and first ones to the finish line.
Taking second place for Promoto is Troy Vanscourt from the 4X team of Ray Del Soglio with a total time of 7 hours and 15 minutes. And finishing in third place is Massimo Mangini for 66S. Taking the checkered flag for the Pro Quads is last year's Baja 1000 winner, Saeed Sanchez in 1A. Aaron Richardson takes first place honors for the Ironman class with a total time of 9 hours and 41 minutes. Marco Pena, riding the 120X, takes first place for the Promoto Limited with a time of 8 hours and 20 minutes. In the lead of the Class 1 cars on course is Shelby Reed as they make their ascent into the summit. Ronnie Wilson has fallen out of contention due to mechanical trouble. And taking his position in second is the reigning class champion, Brad Wilson. Not too far behind is Mason Cullen, who's doing his best to fend off Justin Davis behind him in fourth. The solo driver is making a push for the podium and the leaders. trophy truck spec lineup has been shaken up as James Scully and Rafael Navarro have fallen behind on the ascent. A.J. Jones has jumped on top of the class and now leads the pack in front of Sarah Price and Brad Lovell as they climb the summit. In the lead of Class 10 is Cesar Cuevas. He started in the 8th position and has persevered to earn himself the lead. But he'll have to continue to do that if he wants to take the podium. Coming after him are Chase Lauren, Rafael Aguirre, and Cody Reed, who are not to be taken lightly in Baja. Mike Caffro is leading the Pro UTVs on course, making a run for the podium behind are Wayne Matlock, Mark Burnett, and Patrick Stone in their Polaris Razors. Trophy trucks are heading back into San Felipe and the finish line. Ryan Arciero still has the lead on course, but he and the other leaders have to push their trucks to the limit as Andy McMillan is keeping it a tight race on corrected time. Desert Racing is being brought to you by BF Goodrich, the official tire sponsor of the Baja Desert Championship, and by Monster Energy. This grueling San Felipe 250 is in its final stages as the trophy trucks work their way back toward the coast. Ryan Arciero has had a nearly flawless day and is still first on course. Luke McMillan is pushing hard to make up ground on the leader with victory in his sights. Zach Langley rounds out the top 3 on course at this late stage. Still within striking distance are Chris Miller and Andy McMillan. The dust barely has a chance to settle as both roar through the late afternoon desert. And the McMillan family makes a crowd at the front of the pack as Dan follows his cousin in the 23 truck, giving it everything he's got. Robbie Gordon has fallen back to 7th on course, and Bryce Menzies is charging hard, looking to move up as the trophy trucks close in on the finish. In San Felipe, the bikes and ATVs continue to make their way toward the podium, but all eyes are focused down beach, waiting for the first trophy truck to roll into view. It's Ryan Arciero in the number 32 Levi's truck, first to cross the line with a time of 6 hours, 6 minutes.
This year's 2019 San Felipe 250/350 was probably by far the hardest race I've done. It really took it out of you. I was thankful for the break in the middle when we had the highway section about 30 miles up to Trinidad at the halfway point. I needed it. The course was brutal the whole way around. It was relentless. And but it just goes to show how well engineered and well built these trucks are. Herb Smith Fab does a phenomenal job to beat this truck up for 350 miles of, like I said, the hardest terrain I've ever raced in, and for it to be sitting here with all 4s on it and still ready to go again is something incredible.
After starting second off the line, Ryan's finish ahead of the rest of the pack puts him in a great position. But in a timed race, he'll have to keep an eye on the races behind him before anything is official. Next across the line is Luke McMillan. His time of 6:09 leaves Arciero still holding the top spot.
Should have been our day. We had a great start, and we were just cruising along. Got a little hairy on Port Cedars Road once. That was our only kind of mistake of the day, but other than that, we popped out of Matomi Wash, only about 2.5 minutes off Rob, and I was like, that's great. And we crossed Morelia Junction, just doing our thing, and lost power steering pump. I mean, what can I say? We changed the power steering pump and still landed on the podium, which is pretty incredible, but at the same time, should have been another win.
Zach Langley and the number 50 Cops truck follows, beating Luke's time by just 4 seconds, but still 3 minutes behind Ryan Arciero. When Andy McMillan's number 31 is waved across the line, the timekeepers go to work. After starting the day 27th off the line, Andy's pace to the finish gets him there in 6 hours, 4 minutes, and 26 seconds, which gives him the victory. In a stellar career with wins in every other score race over the years, this is Andy's first San Felipe crown in a trophy truck, and he's gonna enjoy it.
I'm just overwhelmed with emotion. Just haven't had the best of luck the last couple races. I've had to roll over this race, and just be able to come back from that and win the race is just unbelievable. You know, right here on the beach of San Felipe, I grew up coming down here to these races, and to win one. I've never won San Felipe overall in a trophy truck. I won in my Class 1 car with my dad in 2005, and this is the one race that's eluded me in a trophy truck. So to finally get that monkey off my back and overcome the adversity we went through today, it's indescribable. I don't know what to say.
A.J. Jones is the first in the trophy truck spec class to reach San Felipe, 6 hours and 48 minutes after leaving the start line. Sarah Price follows in second at 6 hours, 54 minutes. And Brad Lovell's 244 takes third at 7 hours, 18 minutes. In Class 1, last year's season points champion Brad Wilson starts off his campaign to defend his title with a win at 7 hours, 27 minutes. Second place, Shelby Reed is within 14 minutes of the winner at 7 hours, 41 minutes. And Justin Davis brings the number 185 buggy home with a third place time of 7:56. Cesar Cuevas posts a time of 7 hours, 50 minutes to conquer the Class 10 field. Chase Warren follows 9 minutes later, and Rafael Aguirre takes third at 8 hours, 25 minutes. Andy McMillan breaks through the pack on corrected time and overcomes his start in 27th with a tremendous win, waving the checkered flag for the first race of the year. His cousin Dan tops Zach Langley and Luke McMillan to squeeze into third and take a podium spot by 3 minutes. Robbie Gordon got back on the course just in time to make the top 10. Scott Bailey takes first place for the Trophy Truck Legends class, putting them in good position. A.J. Jones holds on to take the checkered flag for the Trophy Truck Spec class in what looks to set up a tight competition for the championship. Justin Morgan and Team 1X top the motorcycles, making a strong start to this year's competition. Brad Wilson is on a mission to defend the Class 1 title. The San Felipe course took out more than half the competition, but we can look for them to bounce back in the Baja 500 in Ensenada.
Well, we've got the winners into the Malecon here along the Cia Cortez in San Felipe. A beautiful day for racing, and I'll tell you, it was a brutal 349 miles. For us, we ended up inside the top 10, but our hats are off, of course, to Andy McMillan bringing home the big win. We'll see you next time when the SCORE World Desert Championships go racing on the Pacific Coast as we get set for the Baja 500. I'm Cameron Steele. We'll see you next time when we make some dust.
Join us again as the racers continue the competition and their battle against Baja at the SCORE Baja 500. For SCORE International Off-Road Racing and our entire World of X Games crew, I'm Brian Cummings.